Welcome to the channel. I am Ladewaybac, and today I'm going to be doing a guide for Launcher. Now I'm going to show you at least what I believe to be the most effective way to play her and get you some wins. First off, we're going to start off with her A attack. Now as you can see, this has a lot of range to it. It's kind of crazy for like one of her fastest attacks. The faster one would be the low. Now if we're far away, what we want to do with this is we want to do a back skill attack. We'll call it S. We want to do a back S or a 4S, or we can go into our flamethrower. When up close, you can cancel into your 5S there because we can get a combo off of that. See, from afar, that will not connect as a combo. But up close, it will. Even from this distance right here, or even a little further back. So you want to get used to the ranges so you know what to switch to. Because you want to do far. If you're far, you want to do the flamethrower or the side kick here. And if you're close, you always want to go for the S, our rocket launcher here. So rocket launcher into your MP attack is what you'll be doing for like corner combos here. But I'll go over the corner combo later. Right now, I'll show you some mid-screen options. Now, for mid-screen, if you just want straight damage, do 6S into the laser. Now, you see how I did it early there? You want to let them fall a little bit, so you get the full damage. Because if you do it too early, the laser will just tap them, and you're missing out on a ton of damage while practically just wasting your MP. Now what I prefer to do is shoot our bazooka right afterwards, because as soon as they stand up, it's gonna hit them. Now a couple of options you can do from there is just run and get a grab, which is not easy for them to see coming, especially if if it's not happened to them before. Or the other option is just going for some attacks and trying to open your opponent up. Now for your 2A, it is a faster attack, but what I like to do with that is I like to cancel into the flamethrower or just into the grenade. Either one will do, just to keep your opponent at bay. This won't combo, but you keep your opponent at bay, and it's fast, and you can apply some pressure that way. But if you're just looking to get a knockdown, flamethrower is the best way. And continuing off of the flamethrower, which is our B attack, it's like an instant projectile. Like it's almost full screen and it's just right on them. It's right on them. So what I like to do is if we're full screen, I like to get just inside the range and just catch them with it. Because they don't always see that coming because it's just so fast and it's right on you. And even if your opponent is to, let's say, roll on you, we'll just have you roll there. So if they're gonna roll and they see you moving up and they're gonna roll and try to get close on you, you're holding it, and the last part will tick on them and you'll get the knockdown, so you will be safe there. So like if they say that happens right at the beginning of the roll and the last parts will hit them, so it'll knock them down, not a hard knockdown, but it'll knock them down, and then you're free to back up and create some more space. And one last cool thing about the flamethrower is it could recover our magic pretty fast, our MP. So look at the meter; it goes up for every tick of it, so we can get the full a lot faster. So if you're low on MP, why not throw this out and recover it faster? Now for the 2S, which is the grenade, it has a timed explosion and a explosion on contact. So it can blow up in two different ways, which makes it a very effective zoning tool. So we could be full screen and maybe they'll see it on the ground and maybe they'll jump. And we can look out for the jump there. Or we just throw it out and just keep zoning them. Just keep zoning them. Also, it's pretty great for some set play. They have to wake up into it. So we can go for attack, or we can just go for a grab immediately afterwards. Now for the skills. Now we have our our 2S, which is our anti-air rocket right there, which you get a setup off of that. Like, sometimes it'll connect. It depends on the distance, right? Because if I'm all the way back here, that won't always connect, but it will force them to block on wake up, or just hit them on wake up. So be aware of the distance, and you get a setup like I showed you before. So be aware of your distance, because if you're closer, then you can just combo it, or if you're really close, you can get that, right? And if you're like mid, you could like you just probably just do a laser afterwards after that that rocket hits right there. So with that, you have to be aware of what kind of what kind of distance your opponent is when you do hit your 2S. Now for the other ones, they're just your typical zoning tools, right? You shoot out these rockets. This one's faster, so if they're trying to roll past your stuff, or you know, they're just used to the speed of this one, you can shoot this one right here. It's faster, it's a different speed, but just be aware that the fast one here, the 6S, can go over crouching opponents. And for our 4S, which is the slide here, we have the combo, which we can do our 2 MP attack into. So that'll connect every time for the big damage. Also, we have the grenade set up out of there. And we also have a spicy setup in the corner, but I'm gonna do all the corner stuff together, so we'll get to that later. And another thing about the slide kick is it's really good for this kick right here. It's really good for your opponent when they're like trying to run up on you, you know? They're tired of your zoning and they're just gonna like go full force at you. That's a really good time to do it. But take into account with Swiftmaster here, who is a very strong character, that will not connect. RTP will not connect. As far as I know, this is the only character that it does not work on. So keep that in mind. Alright, next up are MP attacks. Now, 2 MP, or MS rather, or 2 MS, is a DP, as it is for every character. And our 4 MS, it can be used as a combo extender, or we can use it as a zoning tool, right? What I like to do this is with I like to throw out the grenade and see I can run up a little, because you know I'm safe, because I know that explosion will protect me, right? If they like run right at me. But I can throw this on the ground and use it here, because I know my front is safe, and I just covered a whole lot of area. So if you think your opponent's about to make a move on you, he's gonna try and like encroach on your position, throw the grenade, run up, and you cover all of that. And also, what's the last one? Our 6 MS. Typically, I'll use this for combos, but if you're like certain, like let's say you have a lot more MP and it's later in the match and you're taking some damage, you know, it's nice to throw it out when you think your opponent's gonna jump at you, because they can't jump over it. Give you a better example. Doesn't matter what they do, they're not jumping over that. And then if it's closer to the corner, then you know, you just start comboing. And I almost skipped over a MP attack. This right here are 5 MP or 5 MS. This I would say is one of the better zoning tools in the game. As far as I've seen, it beats pretty much everything. So if you have a ranger who's just shooting at you, just throw this at him, and that'll connect. Or an enchantress who is just fighting you from a distance. This will obviously make them want to close the gap, because this will pretty much eat through everything. Now for our jumping attacks. Now we have our ray gun here, and that is our jumping S, which is a very powerful move. It covers up a lot of area, and you can get a nice little cheap shot in on your opponent. But be wary, if they're like it goes over their head, they can go under you and they can get a full damage combo on you. So you want to be careful with that. If we're gonna use it at a distance. Now for our jumping B, we can get in on our opponent, and it's like basically our jumping. You can combo off of it, but not always. It's not always consistent. See how it didn't combo there? So sometimes if you're like doing a deep jump in, or you know, it's not very consistent. Sometimes it'll combo, sometimes it won't. I'm not sure what will make it more guaranteed, like to know that you're gonna get it. Cause like right there, I thought I would be able to get it there, but so yeah, sometimes you'll be able to combo, sometimes you won't. But just be aware that if it is blocked, they will have the advantage. So be sure to block afterwards, or just go into a DP afterwards, just to be safe. And for our jumping A, this is a lot stronger than you think, because she bounces and she can cancel this into her other specials. So we can cancel this into a ray gun, and it covers a lot of area. Just look how far that goes. It goes very far, and then it'll always connect the ray gun. And even if your opponent is jumping, you get a free combo off of that. Even from all the way back here, okay, maybe not all the way from back there, but when you know it can connect, you can get something off of that. So usually when I'm doing this this jumping attack, I'm finishing it with the ray gun. And another thing to mention about the slash, not the slash, I'm sorry, that's Guilty Gear. About the B, this is a good way to escape your opponent, right? So if you're trying to get away from your opponent, you can jump back and do that, and it'll cover you. It's good to create some space. So if you're right in this area, it's good to throw out, because if they're gonna try to run under you, that's gonna hit. And one more thing. Opponent status. We'll make him crouch. Make her crouch. This won't really work if they're if you're against a crouching opponent. So you want to be very wary of that. So it will go over their head, so you won't be able to do that, and then our beam here. But for standing opponents, and if they're jumping, it'll always hit. So if they do duck it, it's not the end of the world. They won't be able to just just hit you right afterwards. I mean, technically they can, but you know, their brain has to be processing pretty fast. So don't be scared to throw this out. This is very strong to do. And lastly, we have the quantum missiles. Now, these obviously chunk for a lot of damage, but like it'll track exactly to where your opponent is, no matter if they're moving or not. Like once the target on the ground gets to them, that's where the missile's coming down. So it's a lot. The ways I found to use it, or there's some effective ways that you could use in the corner, which I'll get to next. But from full screen, you could throw this out, and if your opponent moves up, you can always just flamethrower him. So we'll have Inquisitor just kind of run at us, right? So I throw this out, she runs at us, we burn them, and we make sure they go back into that. So we can force them to block it, or we can get some damage on them there. And you know, there's another setup you can do. Like if you get the kick right here, you could just jump up and summon the missile, ray gun to keep him in place. But there is a moment there. There is a moment where they can roll and escape the damage. So you just be prepared to grab after that, because like ordinarily they're gonna want to avoid this missile, right? Because not only does it do big damage, but like, oops, look at the guard gauge. That's 2 bars right there. There's 2 bars of guard gauge just gone. So if 3 of these things were to hit, that's a guard break. And also it leaves a pretty good chunk of white health, right? And when an Inquisitor goes into awakening mode, then the white health is pretty insane with one of those hits. So keep that in mind. Alright, so we'll start off with the big damage combo that we can do with when we have our awakening up and we have all this MP to work with. So we'll start off with that. Honestly, you could probably do a bigger damage combo if you started with the rocket. That's pretty unrealistic, because as you'll most likely be starting with these right here, because it's easier to confirm off of. And right now I have it so that they're not regenerating health, so we can see the full damage. Alright, so into the combo. Into awakening. We also have enough MP to do a in case we don't want to use your awakening, you can also do the 2 MP attack too, your DP. So yeah, we pretty much chunk them there. that's a ton of damage. So if we got like a full MP bar and awakening, that's what we can go for. Now here's a combo that we can do if we have less MP. So even 100 is fine. Alright, so here's the combo that I prefer to do, as it has a setup inside of it. So it's basically like a combo reset, which is pretty hard to escape. So we still making sure that the opponent's health doesn't recover, right? So it just stays where it's at. So I'll show you right now. And that's pretty much the whole life bar. so I'm gonna explain that setup a little bit. All right, I'm gonna get into it right now. So I believe I forgot to mention it, but when you do your slide, you can always do an awakening afterwards, like no matter what. Even if it's mid-screen, it'll always hit. So that's like your main way of getting it, right? So with this combo, right, or this setup, we set up the silo. So what's really important about this is when we summon the thing, the missile, we don't just hang down and just fall, right? We want to use the gun so it makes us fall faster. So I'll show you right now. If I try to summon it without doing that, there's not enough time to grab, and not enough time for them the grab to go into the missile. So gun, then grab. You gotta be quick about it. So the grab goes into the bomb, which will and then set you up for another combo. Okay? I'll show you again. You gotta be quick about it. Gotta be quick about it. So when after you summon the missile, you gotta run up and get your grab as soon as possible. And another part that's kind of hard about this is after the explosion, hitting this missile afterwards. That is some very specific timing. A lot of times I'm just mashing the button as quick as possible so I can ensure that I get it. But I think the best way possible is to get the timing down so that you never really mess it up. But as of now, I'm just mashing, just so you know that mashing it could work, but it's probably best to just get the timing down. So lastly here, I'll show you the same combo, but how to do it with just 100 MP. It's like we're starting out fresh here. And we don't have awakening, so we end with the DP instead. And that's still a ton of damage, man. That's still a ton of damage. So we're leaving out a couple of special moves because we only have 100 MP, and we're still we finished with the DP instead of an awakening. That's still pretty good damage, man. And that's something you could do from the start of the round if you have the corner, man. So yeah, that's that. Now, when it comes to this setup, it's not completely guaranteed. There are some ways that your opponent can escape. So right now we have her doing her DP, right? So I'll show you how that works out. We go for the grab, but we get hit by that, and she escaped it. Now a lot of opponents won't be able to escape the missile because her DP goes into the sky, so she can't escape that. And also we have Vanguard and Inquisitor, who both have cutscenes for their DP, and Launcher herself has a cutscene for a DP, as you see there. So they can escape that setup. So if you're going against a character and they know how to get out of that, or you know they have that DP and you just expect it, you can just block the DP and just punish it anyways. You know, just get a regular combo. But let me go over another example. So let's say our opponent wants to jump. We'll miss the grab, but eventually they'll land, and then they could possibly get hit by the bomb or block the bomb, so you just have to be prepared for that, but they're still in a bad spot even if they're jumping. And lastly, let's say our opponent tries to wake up Roll. They're getting grabbed and going into it anyways. Roll's not gonna help them there. So just watch out for the certain characters, like characters with like a Lost Warrior and Grabby Boy Grappler. Those two characters, they have counters, so you could just grab through that. And yeah, so I think the only characters you really got to worry about, unless I'm missing one, is Dragonite, and Inquisitor and Launcher herself, because those are cutscenes. So people like Hitman and Ranger, where they're just kind of dead. Oh, and Vanguard too. Vanguard's a cutscene too. So everybody else is pretty much like, if you think about Ranger and Hitman, they're just kind of spinning on the ground and just doing their thing. So the missile will come and just hit them anyways. Like I've showed that in the video before too. So they'll get blown up. You won't be able to combo afterwards, but they'll still get blown up. And that is my guide to Launcher. If I missed anything and perhaps you know some tech that I missed out on, let me know in the comments. And if this video has helped you out and now you're stomping everybody you fight with Launcher, also leave a comment, man. Let me know, man. I like to hear those comments, you know, to know that, you know, the work I put in here has gotten you some victories. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for daily fighting game content. Thanks for watching.